Welcome to Tungal Online Classes. In the last class, we completed the simple microscope as well as the compound microscope. Today, we are going to discuss about the terrestrial telescope. So, what is the need of the terrestrial telescope? Means to see the very distant objects. To see the very distant objects, we are using the terrestrial telescope. In the case of the simple microscope as well as the compound microscope, especially in the compound microscope, there we use two types of lenses. One is the objective lens, another one is a what? Eye lens. The objective lens focal length, the size of the aperture of the objective lens will be less, whereas the aperture size of the eye lens will be more in the case of the compound microscope. But in the case of the telescope, if you look at the diagram, so here we are using the three different lenses, and the lens which is facing towards the object will be calling as either objective lens or a field lens. How can we define the field lens or objective lens? The lens which is facing towards the object, such type of lens we are calling as a what? Either objective lens or field lens. If you look at the diagram, comparing the eye lens, the field lens aperture size will be very more. So that in the case of the telescope, the aperture size of the field lenses or objective lenses will be larger with respect to the eye lenses. So that in the case of the telescope, the aperture size of the eyepiece will be small and the aperture size of the field lens will be more. And in between these eyepiece as well as the field lens, here we are placing one more lens. That lens will be calling as a what? Erecting lens. See here, we are assuming that f0 will be the focal length of the objective lens, fe will be indicating the focal length of the eye lens, and f will be indicating the focal length of the erecting lens. And generally we are using this terrestrial telescope for which purpose? For seeing the very distant objects. Already we told, very distant objects means whatever the light rays which are coming from the very distant object will be considered as parallel beam of the light. Now look at the diagram. So from the very distant object, I am assuming that a parallel beam of light will be coming, means that the object will be placed at what distance? That the object will be placed at the infinite distance. Whenever a parallel beam of light will be incidenting on any one of the lens, its a corresponding image will be formed yet. Principal focus of the objective lens. So in the diagram, f0 will be indicating what? Principal focus of the objective lens. So since the light is coming from the infinite distance object, the corresponding image I will be formed where? At the principal focus of the objective lens. Now, whatever the image I will be formed by the objective lens, now it is acting as the object for the erecting lens. What is that? The image which is produced by the objective lens, will be acting as a virtual object for the erecting lens. And we made the arrangement, the position of this eye, the position of the virtual object of the erecting lens will be placed at a distance of 2f from the erecting lens. Where we located the eye position means the eye will be arranged to be at a 2f of the erecting lens. Whenever the object will be placed at a 2f, the corresponding image is also formed at the same distance or at the same point of 2f0. So that whenever I will be adjusted at a distance of 2f from the erecting lens, the corresponding image will be formed at the same distance on the another side. Now, I dash will be what? Image with respect to the erecting lens. Image with respect to the erecting lens. Now, we made the arrangement again. So where the I dash will be formed? The I dash will be formed within the focal plane of the eye lens. Where the I dash will be formed? The I dash will be formed within the focal plane of eye lens. Whenever the object will be placed within the principal focus of or within the focal plane of the eye lens, its corresponding image will be virtual. Virtual, erected and enlarged. virtual, erected and enlarged. Already we told for the convex lens, whenever the object will be existing between the focus to the optic center, the corresponding image nature will be what? Virtual, erected and enlarged, and the image will be formed on the same side. So see here, this I dash will be indicating the virtual object for the eye lens. I dash will be acting as a what? Virtual object for the eye lens. As a result, it's a final image. Will be represented by I suffix f. Final image will be represented by I suffix f, which is produced by the eye lens. Since the object will be above the principal axis, the image is also placed where? Above the principal axis. That's why we are saying that the nature of the image will be virtual, erected and enlarged. Since because of placing this lens, the final image will be the erected image. That's why this lens will be calling as a what? Erecting lens. Here again two cases are there. If the final image will be formed at infinity, when the final image will be formed at infinity, when I dash will be at principal focus of the eye lens, when the virtual object I dash will be at principal focus of the eye lens, the final image will be formed at infinity. When the final image will be formed at infinity, whatever the I dash will be taking as a virtual object for the eye lens, if it is existed at the principal focus of eye lens, the corresponding final image will be, see here, whenever the virtual object will be located at the principal focus of the eye lens, the corresponding final image will be formed where? At infinite distance. So whenever the final image will be formed at infinite distance, what is the magnifying power of the terrestrial telescope? The magnifying power of the terrestrial telescope, whenever the final image will be formed at infinite distance, will be given by m infinity. M infinity is indicating what? Magnifying power of the terrestrial telescope whenever the final image will be formed at infinite distance. So which is given by f naught by fe. What is the magnifying power of the terrestrial telescope whenever the final image will be formed at infinite distance? M infinity is equal to what? F naught by fe. Next, what is the length of the telescope? What is the meaning of the length of the telescope? The distance of separation between objective lens to the eye lens. From this diagram you only tell this distance is equal to what? F naught plus 2f fe. So that the total length of the telescope is equal to what? F naught plus 4f plus fe. So that the length of the telescope is equal to f naught plus 4f plus fe, which is giving the length of the telescope. Generally in the numericals they will be asking that what is the magnifying power and what is the length of the telescope whenever they will be specifying the focal length of the eye lens as well as the objective lenses. So this is the case whenever the final image will be formed at infinite distance. Now we are going to discuss whenever the final image will be formed at the least distance of a distinct vision. So that the final image will be formed at least distance of a distinct vision. That distance will be indicating what? With a capital D. So that whenever the final image will be formed at least distance of a distinct vision, the corresponding magnifying power is equal to f naught by fe into 1 plus fe by d. So what is the magnifying power of the telescope whenever the final image will be formed at least distance of a distinct vision? That value is equal to md is equal to, m means what? Magnifying power, d means what? Whenever the final image will be formed at least distance of a distinct vision, that value will be given by f naught by fe into 1 plus fe by d. Next, what is the length in this case? The length value is equal to f naught plus 4f plus fe into d by fe plus d. The length of the telescope in this case, will be is equal to what? L is equal to f naught plus 4f plus fe into d by fe plus d. So this is about the concept of the terrestrial telescope. topic, reflecting telescope. Reflecting telescope. Up to now we discussed about so many optical instruments. Those are simple microscope, compound microscope and terrestrial telescope. In all these optical instruments just we use only convex lenses. But in the case of the reflecting telescope we are using the mirrors. We are using the mirrors. So in the reflecting telescope we are using two different types of mirror. The first mirror is a what? Concave mirror, and the second mirror is called what? Convex mirror. How many mirrors we are using here? Two mirrors. The first one is a what? Concave mirror, and the second one is a what? Convex mirror. Out of these two mirrors, only one of the mirror will be facing towards the object. That mirror will be calling as a what? A concave mirror. So that the mirror which is facing towards the object, that a mirror will be calling as objective mirror. What is the meaning of the objective mirror? The mirror which is facing towards the object or which is receiving the light rays from the given object, that a mirror will be calling as a what? Objective mirror. So that whatever the incident light are coming from the given object, they will be incidenting on the first objective mirror, and the reflected light rays from the objective mirror will be again incidenting on the another mirror, that is calling as a what? Convex mirror. Another mirror, that is a what? Convex mirror. Again this incidental light will be again reflected back, that is received by the, that is converged or receiving by the eye lens or eyepiece. Eye lens or eyepiece. As a result you are seeing the very distant objects by using the reflecting telescope. See here, what is the need of constructing this reflecting telescope? Already we have terrestrial telescope, means the making of reflecting telescope will be very cheaper with respect to the terrestrial telescope. The making of reflecting telescope will be what? Very cheaper with respect to the what? Terrestrial telescope, and which is a portable. That means easily we have to carry this reflecting telescope from one place to the another place. So for that purpose we constructed the new telescope that will be calling as a what? Reflecting telescope. So what are the advantages of this reflecting telescope with respect to the terrestrial telescope? Means, see here, first one, since we are using which type of objects here? Mirrors we are using. So instead of the refraction, here a reflection will be takes place, so that there is no loss of intensity. There is no loss of intensity due to the reflection which was takes place over either convex mirrors as well as concave mirrors. So that because of no loss of intensity, whatever the images we are getting, that images appears to be more brighter. The images becomes to what? More brighter. So this is the first advantage of consideration of the reflecting telescope. Once again, whenever the light will be undergoing the refraction, so there is a chance of losing more amount of intensity. But whenever the light will be undergoing the reflection, there is a possibility of loss of intensity will be very small, so that due to the less amount of intensity will be lost, the final image will be becomes to what? More brighter. And second one, if you want to construct the lenses with the larger diameter, it is so expensive and it is a very difficulty. But to make the bigger diameter lenses, second point, to make a bigger diameter lenses will be very difficulty. To make the bigger diameter or bigger aperture lenses will be very difficulty with respect to the bigger size mirrors. So that easily we can construct the mirrors which is having the larger aperture. So it is easy to made the mirrors. It is easy to make the mirrors with large diameters. So this is the second advantage of the reflecting telescope. What is the second advantage? It is easy to make the mirrors with a larger diameters. Next one. By using the reflecting telescope, we have to reduce spherical aberration and chromatic aberration. By using the reflecting telescope, which type of aberrations we have to reduce? First one is a what? Spherical aberration, and the second one is a what? Chromatic aberrations. chromatic aberrations we have to reduce by using this reflecting telescope. So because of this we are preferring the reflecting telescope instead of the terrestrial telescope. These are the uses of the reflecting telescope. So the theory part of ray optics is now completed. Now we are going to start the numericals. The numericals of ray optics. 9.3. A tank is filled with water to a height of 12.5 centimeter. A tank is taken. So in the tank water will be filled to a height of what? 12.5 centimeter. The apparent depth of a needle lying at the bottom of the tank, that is measured by the microscope to be 9.4 centimeter. What is the refractive index of the water? This is the first part of the 9.3 question. See here. Here we consider one tank. So this tank will be filled with the water. This tank will be filled with the water. Up to what height? Up to what height? The actual depth of the water is equal to H is equal to 12.5 centimeter. 12.5 centimeter. Now, at the bottom of the tank, an object will be there. At the bottom of the tank, object will be there. And by using the telescope, we are viewing the object. By using the telescope, we are viewing the object. Whenever we are focusing the telescope on the given object, it will be appears to be at a distance of 9.4 centimeter. 9.4 centimeter. So whenever we are looking the object with the help of the telescope, it will be appears at a distance of H dash is equal to what? H apparent is equal to they given. H apparent is equal to what? 9.4 centimeter. 9.4 centimeter. Actual depth is equal to what? 12.5 centimeter. 12.5 centimeter. Then they are asking that what is the refractive index of the water? What is the refractive index of the water? So already we have a formula. What is that? H apparent is equal to H by mu. H apparent is equal to what? H by mu. So this formula already we derived in the concept. Apparent depth H apparent is equal to what? H by mu. Which value we needed here? Refractive index of the water we needed. Therefore, refractive index of the water is equal to mu is equal to H by H apparent. So H value is equal to what? 12.5 centimeter by H apparent is equal to 9.4 centimeter. If you simplify, you will get the refractive index of the water is equal to what? 1.33. 1.33. So that is the refractive index of the given water. Now, in the second part, they are saying that if the water is replaced by a liquid of refractive index 1.63. In the second case, instead of the water, they will be placing what? A liquid and whose refractive index is equal to what? 1.63 up to the same height. Same height means what? Again the height value will be remain same. The height value is equal to what? 12.5 centimeter. So the same tub will be taken. So water will be removed. In the place of the water, they filled the another liquid whose refractive index is equal to 1.63. Height will be remain same. Now what they are asking? By what distance would the microscope have to be moved to focus on the needle again? So, at what distance we have to lift the microscope for focusing on the object? For that purpose, first we have to calculate the again apparent position of the given object in the second case. So, again apparent position will be taken as H apparent dash is equal to what? H by mu L. What is the? See here, if you simplify this value, H apparent dash is equal to what? H by mu L. What is the H value? Same height 12.5, refractive index is equal to 1.63. Therefore, if you simplify, this value becomes to be H apparent dash is equal to 7.63. Initial apparent depth is equal to what? 9.4 and the final apparent depth is equal to what? 7.63. That means the microscope has to be lifted. So what height the microscope has to be lifted is equal to delta H is equal to H apparent minus H apparent dash. H apparent minus H apparent dash. What is the initial apparent depth value? 9.4. 9.4 minus 7.63, this value is equal to 1.73 centimeter. To what height the microscope has to be lifted? The difference in apparent depth of two cases, that value is nothing but 1.73 centimeter. So this is about numerical number 9.3. To the given numerical 9.4. In this given numerical, they consider three different cases. First, air glass medium. Second one is air water medium. Third one is the what? Water glass medium. So coming to the first diagram, they are saying that the light is traveling from air medium to the glass medium. Air medium to the glass medium. So what they are asking that predict the angle of refraction in the glass when the angle of incidence in the water is 45 with the normal to water glass interface. So in the third case they are asking that, in the third case they are asking the angle of refraction in the glass medium. Angle of refraction in the glass medium. Now coming to the first one, here the light is traveling from where to where according to the first case. Light is traveling from air medium to the glass medium. For the air medium, the refractive index value will be taken as a 1. For the glass medium, I am assuming that the refractive index of the glass is equal to what? Mu g. So, from the first case, I want to calculate the refractive index of the glass. So, to find the refractive index of the glass, which law we have to apply? Snell's law of refraction. What is the Snell's law of refraction? Mu1 sin I is equal to mu2 sin R. Mu1 sin I is equal to what? Mu2 sin R. What is the mu1 for the air medium? Angle of incidence is equal to 1 and angle of incidence is equal to angle of incidence in the first medium is equal to what? 60 degrees. Sin I means what? Sin 60 and mu2 value we don't know and sin R value will be given by 35 degrees. So, I applied the Snell's law of the refraction for air and glass medium. Refractive index of the air is equal to 1. So, angle of incidence is equal to 60. Angle of refraction is equal to what? 35. Now, what is the value of sin 60? From the sin table, the value of sin 60 is equal to what? 0.8660. Sin 60 value from the sin table is equal to what? 0.8660. And what is the mu2 denotes? Mu2 will be denoting the refractive index of the glass. So, mu2 value is equal to what? Refractive index of the glass and sin 35 value is equal to what? Sin 35 again from the sin table, its value is equal to 0.5736. 0.5736. If you simplify, you will get the refractive index of the glass is equal to 1.51. Refractive index of the glass is equal to what? 1.51. So, like this we have to apply the Snell's law for calculating the refractive index of the any one of the medium. Next, coming to the second case. In the second case, light is traveling from where to where? Air medium to the water medium. Again we have to apply the Snell's law of the refraction. So, here this is the first medium, this is the what? Second medium. Mu1 sin I is equal to mu2 sin R. Again we are assuming that for the air medium, refractive index value is equal to 1. Again sin 60. Refractive index of the water will be taken as a mu suffix w and a sin refractive angle 47. Sin 47. Already you wrote here sin 60 value is equal to what? 0.8660. Therefore, sin 60 value 0.8660 and mu w into sin 47 is equal to 0.7314. Sin 47 is equal to what? 0.7314. Again, if you simplify, you will get refractive index of the water is equal to what? 1.32. Refractive index of the water is equal to what? 1.32. So, this is the second case. So, from the case 1 you got the refractive index of the glass and from the case 2 you got the refractive index of the water. Now, we will discuss the case 3. Case 3, in a case 3, the light is traveling from where to where? The light is traveling from water medium to the glass medium, water medium to the glass medium. Again we apply Snell's law of refraction. Mu1 sin I is equal to mu2 sin R. Mu1 sin I is equal to what? Mu2 sin R. What is the first medium? Where the incidental light will be present, that is taken as a what? First medium. So, first medium will be the water medium. Its refractive index value is equal to, already you derived, 1.32. So, refractive index of the water is equal to what? 1.32 and the refractive index of the glass is equal to 1.51. So, that 1.32 into sin 45, 1.32 into sin 45. Refractive index of the glass is equal to 1.51 and sin R value. We have to calculate the sin R value. Therefore, sin R value is equal to 1.32 into sin 45, 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2 means what? 1.414. Root 2 means 1.414 and this 1.51 will be coming to the denominator. So, if you simplify sin R value, you will get 0.6181. 0.6181. Sin R value is equal to what? 0.6181. Therefore, R is equal to sin inverse of 0.6181. From the sin table, you will get R value is equal to 38 degrees 2 minutes. R value is equal to what? 38 degrees 2 minutes. Like this we solve problem number 9.5. A small bulb is placed at the bottom of a tank which is containing a water to a depth of 80 centimeter. They consider one tank and which is filled with the water to a depth of what? 80 centimeter. And what is the area of the surface of the water through which light from the bulb can be emerged out? So, they place a bulb at the bottom of the tank. So, from this bulb light rays are coming outwards. Through what area on the water surface these light rays will be present, that area value they are asking. And they also mentioned the refractive index of the water. The refractive index of the water is equal to what? 1.33. So, whenever the light rays are coming from the denser medium to the rarer medium, total internal reflection will be takes place. Otherwise, whenever the light is incident at the critical angle, the refracted light rays will be getting gauges to the given refracting surface. So, here we are assuming that whenever the light is incident at the critical angle, the light rays are going to be gauges the refracting surface. At that time, the maximum area on the water surface will be illuminated. So that here the area will be existing in the form of a solid inverted cone. In this solid inverted cone area only the light rays will be present. So, I want to calculate the radius of the cone. Radius of the cone is equal to, from this right angle triangle, I will write tan C is equal to R by H. Tan C is equal to what? R by H. From this radius R is equal to H into tan C. Radius R is equal to what? H into tan. The another formula for the radius is equal to H by under root of mu square minus 1. What is the H value here? 80 centimeter. 80 into 10 power minus 2 by under root of, what is the mu value? 1.33 whole square minus 1. If you simplify, you will get the radius value will be R is equal to 0.919 meters. What is the R value you will get? R is equal to what? 0.919 meter. Now, it is existing in the form of a plane circle. Base of the cone will be what? Plane circle. So, that area value is equal to, area formula is equal to pi r square. So, what is the pi value? 3.14 and the radius value is equal to what? 0.919 whole square. If you simplify, you will get 2.65 meters square base of the cone, that is about numerical number 9.5. 9.6. A prism is made of a glass of uniform refractive index. A prism will be made with what material? Glass, which is having a uniform refractive index. A parallel beam of light is incident on one of the face of the prism. The angle of minimum deviation will be measured by 40 degrees. So, initially what they given? Angle of minimum deviation will be given by 40 degrees. Angle of minimum deviation is given by 40 degrees. What is the refractive index of the material of the prism? If the refracting angle of the prism is 60 degrees, refracting angle R, angle of the prism will be remain same, already we told, either refracting angle R, angle of the prism they will be given. So that the angle of the prism is equal to 60 and the angle of minimum deviation is equal to what? 40. So first what they are asking, calculate the refractive index of the given material of the prism. So what is the formula for the refractive index? Mu is equal to sin of A plus dm by 2 by sin A by 2. Sin of A plus dm by 2 by sin A by 2. So, if you substitute the values, sin of A value is equal to what? 60 plus 40 by 2 by sine 60 by 2. So sine 60 plus 40 by 2, sine 100 by 2, that is sine 50. Sine 50 by sine 30. Sine 50 by 2 mu is equal to, you got sine 50 by sine 30. From the sine table, sine 50 value is equal to 0.766, 0.766. Sine 30 value means 1 by 2, that is 0.5. If you simplify, the refractive index of the glass is equal to, you will get mu is equal to 1.532. Mu is equal to what? 1.532. This is the part 1. This is the what? Part 1. Now, what they are asking? In part 2, they are asking that if the prism is placed in the water, whatever the glass prism we consider that is placed in the water of refractive index 1.33, predict the new angle of minimum deviation for the parallel beam of the light. New angle of minimum deviation value we are going to calculate. See here. What you got, the refractive index of the glass is equal to what you got, 1.532. Whenever this glass prism is placed in the water, we have to consider mu relative. What is the mu relative? Refractive index of the glass with respect to the water. So mu relative is equal to, we will write mu g by mu w, mu g by mu w. Again the same formula for the refractive index, sine of a plus small delta m by 2 by sine a by 2. So, what is the refractive index general formula? Sine of a plus dm by 2 by sine a by 2. Here they mentioned the relative refractive index. Relative refractive index. Already you know the refractive index of the glass. What is the refractive index of the glass? 1.532 by refractive index of the water they mentioned 1.33. 1.33, and angle of the prism value does not be changes, so that sine of 60 plus delta small m by 2 by sine a by 2. Sine a by 2, but directly we will write sine 30. Therefore, sine of 60 plus delta m by 2 is equal to sine 30 means what? 0.5 into 1.532 by 1.33. If you simplify that value, you will get 0.5769, which is that value, sine of 60 plus delta m by 2, that value is equal to 0.5769. If you see the sine table for that value is equal to 60 plus delta m by 2 is equal to 35 degrees 10 minutes. 60 plus delta m by 2 value is equal to what? 35 degrees 10 minutes. If you simplify, delta m value is equal to 10 degrees 20 minutes. So, what is the new angle of minimum deviation? 10 degrees and 20 minutes. So, like this we have to calculate the numerical number 9.6. Numerical problem 9.7. So, here they given a double convex lenses are to be manufactured from a glass of refractive index 1.55. So, which lens they taken? A double convex lens they taken, which is made with the material of glass whose refractive index is equal to 1.55. With both the faces are having the same radius of curvature, what is the radius of curvature required for getting the focal length of 20 centimeter? So, one more value they given. Focal length of the given lens is equal to 20 centimeter, and they told that both the surfaces are having the same radius of curvature. In the case of the lens maker's formula, we know the formula 1 by f is equal to what? Mu minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. What is the r1? Radius of curvature of the first surface. r2 will be the radius of curvature of second surface. Whenever they will be specified, both the surfaces are having the same radius of curvature, this formula to be becomes 1 by f is equal to mu minus 1 into 2 by r. 1 by f is equal to what? Mu minus 1 into 2 by r. So, here they given the values of the focal length as well as the refractive index. So therefore 1 by 20 is equal to mu minus 1, 1.55 minus 1 into 2 by r. If you simplify these values, you will get the radius of curvature is equal to 22 centimeter. Radius of curvature is equal to what? 22 centimeter. It's a simple problem. 9.7. 9.8. A beam of light converges at a point P. So which type of beam they consider here? Convergent beam. 9.8. So convergent beam means like this. So they consider one convergent beam will be considered, that a convergent beam will be converging to a point P. Now, a lens is placed in the path of the convergent beam. So we consider a lens, that a lens will be placed in the path of the convergent beam. 12 centimeter from the point P. Where we have to place the lens? We have to place the lens in front of the point P at a distance of 12 centimeter. If a lens is a convex lens of the focal length 20 centimeter and the second one is concave lens of focal length 16 meters, we have to calculate where the final images will be formed. See here, in the first case, which lens they consider? We have to place a convex lens. Of focal length 20 centimeter. Focal length of the convex lens is equal to 20 centimeter. Whenever you consider the convex lens, its focal length value will be positive. The corresponding ray diagram is like this. So this is a convex lens. Onto the convex lens, a convergent beam will be incidenting, and these convergent light rays are going to be converged at the point P. Already in the basics we told, whenever we taken the convergent beam, that a convergent beam will be giving the virtual object. So that here the point P will be acting as a virtual object. And the point P will be located where? That should be located at a distance of 12 centimeter from the lens. Or where the lens will be placed? The lens will be placed at a distance of 12 centimeter from the point P. Now, where the final image will be formed? See here, for this lens P will be acting as the virtual object. So that the object distance is always measured from where? Lens to the object, which is measured in the direction of the incident light. So that object distance is equal to plus 12 centimeter. Always the object distances are taken from where to where? Lens to the object, optic center to the object. So it is measured in the direction of the incident light ray. That's why U is equal to plus 12. For the convex lens, focal length is always positive. Now, we know the lens formula 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. 1 by f is equal to what? 1 by v minus 1 by u. From this, 1 by v is equal to 1 by f plus 1 by u. 1 by v is equal to 1 by f value is equal to what? 1 by 20, and 1 by u is equal to what? 12. If you took the LCM and if you simplify, the image distance value is equal to 7.5 centimeter. Where the image will be formed? 7.5 centimeter. 7.5 centimeter means what? It is a positive value. That means the image is also formed on the same side where the virtual object will be placed. So this is the image distance for the case 1 whenever we are taking the convex lens. In the second case, we have to consider concave lens. The concave lens will be placed in the path of the convergent beam. The corresponding ray diagram is like this. So this is a representation of the concave lens, and this is the point P. So where the convergent beam will be going to be converged? These convergent light rays are going to be converged at the point P. So this is the ray diagram for the concave lens. And what they told, the concave lens will be having the focal length of 16 centimeter. So that the focal length is equal to what? Minus 16 centimeter. For the concave lens, focal length value will be taken as a what? Negative. So that the focal length of the concave lens is equal to what? Minus 16 meter. And object distance is always to be measured from the optic center to the object only. So that object distance is also equal to what? plus 12 centimeter. Why? The distance will be measured in the direction of the incident light. Again we follow the same formula. Lens formula is equal to 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. Now I want to calculate the 1 by v. So 1 by f plus 1 by u. So 1 by v is equal to 1 by v is equal to 1 by f means what? Minus 16 plus 1 by 12. If you simplify, you will get v value is equal to what? 48 centimeter. V value is equal to what? 48 centimeter. In this case also the image distance will be what? Positive, so that along the same side of the virtual object again the image will be formed. So this is about the numerical number 9.8. 9.9. An object of a size of 3 centimeter is placed at a distance of 14 centimeter in front of the concave lens of focal length 21 centimeter. First we will write the given data. Size of the object. Size of the object is equal to, they mention as 3 centimeter. Size of the object or height of the object. That is equal to what? 3 centimeter. And it is placed at a distance of 14 centimeter in front of the concave lens. So first we will draw the concave lens. This is the concave lens, where the object will be located at a distance of 14 centimeter, at a distance of 14 centimeter in front of the concave lens, and whose focal length is equal to, what? 21 centimeter. 21 centimeter. Describe the image produced by the lens. Describe the image produced by the lens. What happens if the object is moved further away from the lens? What happens if the object will be moved further away from the given lens? See here. First, what is the data they given? Size of the object will be given by 3 centimeter. Object distance is equal to what? Minus 14 centimeter. Why? The distance of the object will be measured opposite to the direction of the incident light. Opposite to the direction of the incident light. So that u is equal to minus 14 centimeter. And the given lens is a concave lens, so that its focal length will be again negative. Focal length f is equal to minus 21 centimeter. Now I want to calculate the image distance value. So to calculate the image distance value, we have a formula. 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to what? 1 by f. 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to what? 1 by f. So here 1 by v is equal to 1 by f plus 1 by u. 1 by f plus 1 by u. So here 1 by f means what? Minus 21 plus 1 by u means what? Minus 14. So if you simplify, you will get the image distance value is equal to minus 8.4 centimeter. If you calculate these values, what you will get? Image distance is equal to minus 8.4 centimeter. What is the negative sign denoting? Means the image is also produced on the same side. The image is also produced on the same side. So whenever a given lens will be producing the images or forming the images on the same side as the object was placed, so that its nature will be, the image nature will be virtual. Which type of image will be formed by the concave lens? In this case, image will be the virtual. Image will be virtual. Next, we are going to discuss size of the image. Size of the image. So already we have a formula for the magnification for the lenses. Magnification for the lenses will be given by m is equal to v by u. In the case of the mirrors, we will write the magnifying power is equal to minus v by u. For the lenses, m is equal to v by u. Next, here magnifying power is also defined as the size of the image by size of the object. Magnifying power is also defined as a what? Size of the image by size of the object. So what is the v value here? Minus 8.4 by, what is the object distance? Minus 14. Size of the image value we don't know. Size of the object is equal to 3. Minus getting cancelled. Size of the image is equal to 3 into 8.4 by 14. If you simplify, you will get 1.8 centimeter. Size of the image is equal to what? 1.8 centimeter. Size of the object is equal to what? 3 centimeter. Size of the image is equal to what? 1.8 centimeter. So that here the image will be diminished. The image will be what? Diminished. It is not enlarged. The size of the image will be reduced means what? It is what? Diminished. So this is the size of the image. Next, they told whenever the object will be moving away from the lens, whenever the object will be moving away from the lens, the image will be reaching the focal plane, or the image will be reaching the principal focus of the given concave lens. Whenever the object will be moving away from the lens, the object will be approaching the focal point of the given concave lens. So that this is the numerical number 9.9. 9.9. Next, 9.10. What is the focal length of the convex lens? What is the focal length of a convex lens? A focal length 30 centimeter is in contact with a concave lens of focal length 20 centimeter. So it is based upon combination of the lenses. Combination of lenses. Already we told whenever two lenses are kept in contact, we write the formula combined focal length is equal to what? 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. But here which type of lenses they given? One of the lenses is a convex lens, another lens is a what? Concave lens. Their focal length values are given by, for the convex lens f1 is equal to plus 30 centimeter. For the concave lens, f2 is equal to what? Minus 20 centimeter. Why? The second lens is nothing but the concave lens. So they are asking that if they will be forming a combined lens, what is its effective focal length value? What is the nature of the given lens? See here, the first lens will be what? A convex lens, and which is in contact with the concave lens. So this is the first lens, this is the second lens. Whenever these two lenses are combined together, by using the above formula 1 by f is equal to 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2, we have to calculate the effective focal length value. 1 by f is equal to 1 by f1 value 30 minus 1 by 20. So if you simplify, you will get capital F value is equal to minus 60 centimeter. Minus 60 centimeter. So you got the effective focal length value will be negative, means the effective lens will be acting as a diverging lens. The combined lens will be equivalent to what? Diverging lens. The combined lens will be equivalent to what? Diverging lens. For the diverging lens, the focal length value will be negative. For the diverging lens, the focal length value will be negative. Like this, we have to calculate the combined focal length of the combination of the given lenses. This is about problem number 9.10. 9.11, important concept. Compound microscope based problem. A compound microscope is consisting of the objective lens of focal length 2 cm and eyepiece of focal length 6.25 cm respectively, and they will be separated by a distance of 15 cm. So here I draw the diagram to understand more easily the given problem. So this is the objective lens. This is eyepiece. So objective lens will be having the focal length of 2 cm, eyepiece will be having the focal length of 6.25 cm. These two are separated by a distance of 15 cm. 15 cm. Now what we are going to calculate? How far from the objective? How far from the objective? That means at what distance from the objective lens an object will be placed in order to obtain the final image at least distance of a distinct vision, and the second one is what? Infinity. So that here we are going to calculate position of the object with respect to the objective lens. Position of the object with respect to the objective lens when the final image will be formed at a least distance of a distinct vision and the final image will be formed at infinite distance. So here I consider the case, first case, the final image will be formed at least distance of distinct vision. The final image distance value is equal to 25 centimeter. They was mentioned. Now first here the final image will be produced by whom? The final image will be produced by the eye lens. The final image will be produced by the eye lens. So that I am assuming that in front of the eye lens, the virtual object will be placed at a distance of UE. What is the UE? Objective distance for the eye lens. UE will be indicating what? Objective distance for the eye lens. So first I will write the concept for the islands. For the islands, what is the focal length of the islands? FE is equal to what? 6.25 centimeter. 6.25 centimeter. They told that the final image will be formed at least distance of a distinct division, so that the image distance for the islands is equal to minus 25 centimeter. Minus 25 centimeter. Why we are placing the minus means the image distance will be measured from the lens to the image, opposite to the direction of the actual incident light, opposite to the direction of the actual incident light. Now I want to calculate the UE value. I want to calculate UE. So which lens first I consider? I consider the eye lens. Eye lens focal length is equal to what? 6.25, and the final image will be formed where at a least distance of a distinct division, so that image distance for the eye lens is equal to minus 25 centimeter. I want to calculate the object distance. So from the lens formula, 1 by VE minus 1 by UE is equal to 1 by focal length of the eye lens. Therefore, 1 by UE is equal to 1 by VE minus 1 by FE. If you substitute the values, 1 by UE is equal to 1 by VE, that value is equal to minus 25 minus 1 by FE. Focal length of the eye lens is equal to what? Plus 6.25. Why? It is a convex lens, so that this value is equal to 6.25 centimeter. If you simplify all these values, you will get the objective distance for the eye lens is equal to what you will get? Minus 5 centimeter. Objective distance for the eye lens is equal to what you get? If you simplify this value by substituting FE is equal to plus 6.25 and VE is equal to minus 25, you will get UE value is equal to what? Minus 5 centimeter. That means from this diagram, this value is equal to 5 centimeter in magnitude. But actual distance of separation between the objective lens and eye lens is equal to what? 15 centimeter. So that this distance value is equal to 10 centimeter. What is this distance is indicating? That this distance is nothing but image distance for the objective lens. That distance is nothing but what? Image distance for the objective lens. Already in the theory we discussed. So that now we will consider which lens here first. So here objective lens I want to consider here. Objective lens. For the objective lens they mentioned the focal length value. That focal length value is equal to plus 2 centimeter. From this diagram you got object distance. From this diagram you got image distance for the objective lens. That value is equal to plus 10 centimeter. So they are asking what is the position of the object with respect to the objective lens. That's why we consider the objective lens. From the lens formula, 1 by f naught is equal to 1 by v naught minus 1 by u naught. 1 by u naught is equal to 1 by v naught minus 1 by f naught. 1 by u naught is equal to 1 by v naught value plus 10 centimeter, 1 by 10 minus 1 by 2. So if you simplify, u naught value is equal to minus 2.5 centimeter. U naught value is equal to what? Minus 2.5 centimeter. That means in front of the objective lens, the object will be placed at what distance? U naught is equal to minus 2.5 centimeter. Now, they are asking the magnifying power. They are asking what? Magnifying power. So, the magnifying power of the compound microscope, whenever the final image will be formed at least distance of distinct vision is, the formula will be m is equal to v naught by u naught into 1 plus d by fe. So what is the magnifying power of the compound microscope? Whenever the final image will be formed at least distance of distinct vision means v naught by u naught into 1 plus d by fe. See here, what is the v naught value? V naught value will be 10 and u naught value is equal to minus 2.5, 1 plus D value is equal to what? Minus 25 centimeter. Eye length focal length is equal to 6.25. If you simplify, you will get m value is equal to what? 20. So the magnifying power of the compound microscope is equal to the magnifying power of the compound microscope whenever the final image will be formed at least distance of a distinct vision will be given by m is equal to v naught by u naught into 1 plus d by fe. This is when the final image will be formed at least distance of a distinct vision. In the second case, now we are going to calculate whenever the final image will be formed at infinite distance. Final image will be formed at infinite distance. So when the final image will be formed at infinite distance, whenever the magnitude of objective distance is equal to focal length of the eye lens. That means whenever the object will be placed at principal focus of the eye lens, the final image will be formed at infinite distance. So therefore UE is equal to minus 6.25. So what is the objective distance? For the eyepiece, for the eye lens, whenever the final image will be formed at infinite distance means what? UE is equal to minus 6.25. Now again we will draw the rough diagram here. So this is the objective lens, this is the eye lens, and where the object will be placed at the principal focus, this value is equal to 6.25. And the total distance value is equal to what? 15 centimeter, and this value is equal to V naught. That value will be is equal to what? V naught. Now see here, whenever the object will be placed at the principal focus of the eye lens, the final image will be formed at infinite distance, so that this value is equal to 6.25. This total distance of separation between the objective lens and eye lens is equal to what? 15 centimeter. In this 6.25 was left, so that V naught value is equal to 8.75 centimeter. V naught value is equal to what? 8.75 centimeter. Now we are going to calculate the U naught value. For objective lens, once again we consider for the objective lens. For the objective lens, focal length value is equal to 2 centimeter. Focal length value is equal to what? 2 centimeter, and V naught value is equal to 8.75 centimeter. V naught value is equal to what? 8.75 centimeter. Now where we are placing the object in this case will be, to find the U naught value, once again we are using the formula 1 by F naught is equal to 1 by V naught minus 1 by U naught. 1 by F naught is equal to what? 1 by V naught minus 1 by U naught. From this, 1 by U naught value is equal to 1 by V naught minus 1 by F naught. 1 by U naught is equal to 1 by V naught value 8.75 minus 1 by 2. F naught value is equal to what? 2 centimeter. If you simplify, U naught value is equal to minus 2.59 centimeter. So where the object will be located in this case means the object will be located at a distance of minus 2.59 centimeter. Now here also they are asking the magnifying power. So in this case, where the final image will be formed, at infinite distance. So in that case, magnifying power when the final image will be formed at infinite distance for the compound microscope will be given by V naught by U naught into D by Fe. V naught by U naught into D by Fe. What is the V naught value? 8.75, and U naught value minus 2.51. Next, D value minus 25 centimeter, Fe value 6.25. If you simplify, you will get 13.51. This is the magnifying power whenever the final image will be formed at infinite distance. So these are the numericals about ray optics. Remaining numericals are there, so you will solve them. So this is the topic of ray optics. It is completed. In the next class, we are going to start the wave optics. Okay, thank you.